Hello and welcome, you bung wipes, to TP For Your Earholes. My name is Charlene Schmidt, and with me as always is...
the husband, Patrick Schmidt.
That's right. Today, we are talking about how the earliest reviews of Beavis and Butt-head looked at the show. And all the credit for this episode goes to you, Sir Patrick, for conducting all of the research, basically doing all of the work. And so thanks and stuff.
Yeah, you're welcome. And of course, my gratitude goes to newspapers.com because this is where I found all of this early review kind of stuff. And what's really interesting to me is it's very mixed. And I can't wait to get into that discussion about how these early reviews kind of shaped how people looked at the show. And I think that's really cool.
So you found some really great stuff, and essentially, I am here to react to it. I have skimmed through our notes, and I've seen that you have, I think, 10 reviews that we're going through today. And so, yeah, I'm going to riff, you're going to read, and then our audience can chime in with their feedback. And if you want to follow us, you can do that on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Facebook at TP For Your Earholes. And please reach out, keep up with our latest updates, let us know that you're out there. We really appreciate you.
You can also find us at tpforyourearholes.com, and we're also on YouTube, same username, and find us there too. Like and subscribe and hit the bell and all the things on all the platforms. Let us know you're out there.
Yeah, and if you already have done all of that, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We love the community that's already found us, and we hope to keep growing.
So, are you ready to dive in?
I am so ready. I'm so excited.
Okay, go, buddy, go.
Just to set up a little frame of what we're getting into today, we're going to look at how the reviews considered the show in the time leading up to and then including the first week of the show. So this is going to be stuff from 1992 and then the first couple weeks of March of 1993, which is when the show debuted like officially on MTV. So I thought it'd be interesting to go back retrospectively and see who got it right and who got it wrong.
And how did they define that? That's what I'm really curious about.
Yeah, absolutely. And this isn't every review I could find. There were more out there, but this provides a pretty good sampling of early impressions of the show.
Cool. And we were talking right before the show. Neither you nor I were necessarily into the show at this early of a point. Like, I think we got into it a little bit afterward, maybe after the fire controversy even.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, by 1994, I was watching the show quite religiously, but in 1993, that was a little more iffy.
And for me too, I think we were both in the same boat where we were not on board with this show from the premiere episode.
Right. I'd heard about frog baseball.
Yeah.
It took a while to actually see it, though, because MTV pulled a lot of the really early stuff.
Yeah. And I think there are episodes of Beavis and Butt-head that I did not see until I was well into adulthood.
Yeah.
Just because I missed this big chunk of the show's like history and evolution. So that's part of why I wanted to dig into this topic, was to see what the tenor was like at the time and see if it's some criticism that's deserved or if some people were just so off the mark about where they thought this show was going. I'm really, really interested in that.
Right on. Well, do you want to kick us off with the first review?
Sure. So the earliest reaction I could find, now remember the show debuts in March of 93. The earliest thing I could find was January 31st, 1992. So this is more than a year before the show debuts on MTV.
Okay.
It's from the LA Times.
Hey.
I love the LA Times. And it's from a reviewer. His name's Charles Solomon, and he's reviewing the Extra Sick and Twisted. And Extra Sick and Twisted was 18 short animated films, and they were all kind of shown at the same time. And Frog Baseball was one of those 18 short films that was shown in Extra Sick and Twisted.
Okay, this checks.
All right. So he said, and he said a lot of things, but this was the big takeaway. The scenes of thuggish kids hitting an animal with a baseball bat in Mike Judge's Frog Baseball or the dead baby jokes in Mike Grimshaw's Quiet Please seem juvenile and lame rather than daring or innovative. So the first review we get, Beavis and Butt-head gets called juvenile and lame.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with one of those.
Look, yeah, Frog Baseball is not the finest work of Beavis and Butt-head, for sure.
Agreed. A big part of it, too, for me, was like calling it juvenile and lame. If you only see one episode, and especially if it's Frog Baseball, that's a pretty legitimate takeaway.
Yeah. Now, I do have questions about what is going on with Quiet Please. I've never seen this. Do you have any idea what this is about?
I had never heard of this before. Fortunately or unfortunately, it's on YouTube.
Of course it is.
I found it. It's 2 minutes long, so it's a lot like Frog Baseball. Quiet Please, when I watched it, had 1,300 views.
That's it?
Not very popular. But you get to see in those 2 minutes, you get to see a guy kick and kill a baby, stuff that baby into a woman's vagina. He shoots the head off a priest. He pisses, he shits, he farts, he snots. He cusses about 20 times. This is the company that Beavis and Butt-head were in January of 1992.
Wow. Honestly, compared to that makes Frog Baseball sound refined.
Oh, it was. I think when you compare these two, and admittedly not having seen any of the other 18 that were part of this little festival, I think it's pretty clear that Beavis and Butt-head was the winner.
Wait, was this a competition?
No, it wasn't a competition.
Okay.
But, you know, when you have 18 of anything, you're going to pick your favorite.
Yeah, true.
And between these two, it's very clear what the winner was. But at the same time, like Quiet Please, as gross and disgusting as it was, that's what it was trying to be. It was trying to be shocking. It was trying to be extra sick and twisted.
Well, yeah, that fits. The shoe fits. So I'm just wondering, beyond the scope of this festival, why? What's the intent? Is there social commentary? It doesn't sound like it.
No.
Also, what other company are Frog Baseball and Quiet Please in this festival? I would love to know what else was in this thing.
Oh, totally. I'm sure there's a lineup somewhere out there. If any of our listeners can hook us up with that lineup, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, if you know anything, we would love some hot tips.
So early reaction number 2. About a week after this, it's February 6th, 1992, and it's LA Weekly.
Okay.
And we love LA Weekly too. You know, they do good stuff.
We are in Southern California. These are our local news sources.
So LA Weekly, in their review of Extra Sick and Twisted, I think you see something brewing here. So this is what they said. Mike Judge pluckishly parodies trailer park punks in Frog Baseball and honky-tonk hacks in Inbred Jed's cartoon Honky Problem. So the review actually highlighted Frog Baseball and Mike Judge in particular as one of about 3 creators that were actually worth paying attention to out of the 18 films that were part of this bigger film.
That's pretty cool. And dare I say, Inbred Jed's cartoon Honky Problem sounds like a extremist version possibly of King of the Hill. Not gonna lie.
It kind of is. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh gosh, I've watched it like at least 20 times.
Really? Is this also on YouTube? Should I check this out?
We have it. By the way, Mike Judge, if you're listening, turn off your ears for about 5 seconds. Inbred Jed is on King Turd.
Oh shit, how come we never watch it?
Is
it in that bonus material?
Yeah, and it's also on YouTube. It's got like 1 million views on YouTube as compared to Quiet Please, which has 1,000.
You know what? Okay, I take it all back. Yes, I've seen Inbred Jed. I just didn't remember it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
But your sense about what it is totally right.
Yeah, it just took a minute to realize, oh yeah, okay, so that was that thing that's in the bonus material. And okay. It took a while to connect the dots, y'all.
And the cool thing about Inbred Jed is you do see those little pieces of King of the Hill, the social commentary that's to come in Beavis and Butt-head. So I think LA Weekly did a really nice job of noticing that there was something deeper happening with Mike Judge's animation and the stories he was trying to tell. and that went beyond gross out humor or freak out humor or I'm going to cuss 20 times and you're going to clutch your pearls. That was cool.
Yeah, okay. So LA Weekly dug a little bit deeper, saw that there was something there, and highlighted Mike Judge. Cool.
And I wish I could give credit to the journalist who wrote that, but it was unbylined, so we don't know.
Aw, okay. If you're out there, how many times are we going to say that in this podcast?
Maybe a couple, but I'm okay with it because there's, again, so much about this era that you and I don't know. And to the folks who really did live through it, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes, I feel like we're actually doing like a side story of unsolved mysteries. Only you can help us out.
That sounds fair.
Perhaps it is you.
So early reaction number 3 comes from Newsday. And Newsday is the big newspaper on Long Island.
Okay.
They reviewed the same film, and this is February 28th, 1992, and this is from reviewer Gene Seymour.
Gene Seymour, as opposed to Jane Seymour, the actress.
Yes, exactly. Unspeakable practices, try frog baseball. Mike Joyce's, yes, Joyce, he screwed up the last name.
Oopsie.
3-minute short in which Beav, yes, Beav, not Beavis, again, another mistake, and Butt-head, 2 heavy metal dirtballs, decide to play pitch and catch with an innocent frog. As the film ends, they spot a French poodle. Dog baseball, they shout. Mercifully, this glimpse into the dark side of Wayne's World ends at that moment.
Oh boy. And here we go with the Wayne's World comparisons again.
Oh gosh, it won't be the last time you hear it. And, 92, this is that era.
Okay, Gene Seymour, would you please get it together with your typos or the lack of research? Beav?
Beav.
Come on.
And I get it, mistakes happen. I teach journalism for a living. We're both worked in newsrooms. But 2 in 1 sentence pushes my expectations of what you're going to say. If you can't get those 2 things right, I'm not going to trust anything else you got to say. And clearly...
Yeah, you should get main characters right. You should get any kind of writer, producer, director, creator, whoever. You should get their name right.
I mean, at least he got the plot points right. But it's a 3-minute cartoon. It's kind of hard to screw that up.
Well, I'd say it was possible at this point.
True. So there is a little bit of slowdown in reactions and reviews and stuff after Extra Sick and Twisted that hype kind of dies down. And then it makes its way to Canada. Extra Sick and Twisted makes it to Canada. And so July 24th, 1992, there's a review in the Edmonton Journal, which is the newspaper in Edmonton. So the writer on the story is Mark Horton. And I just love that there's a guy from Canada with the last name Horton.
Right? Tim Hortons, any relation?
Yeah, I'm sure Mark is like his second cousin journalist,
Maybe.
He had this to say, and I think he was the first person to actually see where this was going.
Okay.
So I give him a lot of credit. And he said this: Frog baseball from director Mike Judge is a guilty pleasure, although I'm mildly ashamed to admit it. Still, there's something darkly comic in 2 heavy metal fans playing baseball and trying to hit a frog over the fence.
That's honest.
Really do think he nailed it with, it's a guilty pleasure and I'm kind of ashamed to admit it, but I still see the kind of voyeurish pleasure you can get from 2 people doing that. And it's a cartoon, it's not real life.
Yeah, exactly. I know I'm not supposed to like this, but I do. So I might as well admit it.
Yeah. Mark and his cousin Tim are good people.
I'm going to get some shade for this, and I don't care. Tim Hortons, your coffee is trash. Your baked goods, not bad.
I think you either made a lot of friends or a lot of enemies up north, but I appreciate the honesty.
Am I going to be banned from Canada now?
They're going to put you on a list.
Oh, great.
Although we are American, we're probably already on a list.
Yeah, I don't know if it matters. We probably can't get into the country anyway. They don't want us, and I don't blame y'all.
Right. Yeah, we're stuck in the States, and we'll just have to get by with that. So there is a little bit of die down after that Frog Baseball then does make its way from Extra Sick and Twisted onto Liquid Television, which is September of 92 on MTV. And you start to see these reviews of Liquid Television, and then therefore Frog Baseball and Beavis and Butt-head start to creep back into the mainstream. So one of the early stories I found, and this isn't a review as much as it is a profile on Mike Judge.
Oh.
And it was really, really, really well done, I thought. And it came from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram by a reporter named Brian Schultz. And he did a really, really nice piece. I thought it was really nice. I'm not Mike Judge. As an outside observer, I thought it was well done. And he talks about Frog Baseball. By the way, Frog Baseball premiered on Liquid Television September 22nd, 1992. So this story came out the day before that premiere.
Okay, timely.
Really good timing. And what he said was kind of negligible, but there was this quote from Mike Judge in that story that I thought was really, really good. And so Mike Judge said, "It is sick, but Beavis and Butt-head, they're not two guys to be admired."
See, if everybody came in with that kind of understanding, more people would get the show. They'd understand these characters. They'd understand everything so much better instead of, oh my God, the downfall of society. Rabble.
And if you're wondering why this big feature on Mike Judge came from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, it's because at this time, Mike Judge was living in Richardson, Texas.
Gotcha. I was wondering that. Why there of all places?
And he was also 29, which makes me, as somebody in my early 40s, feel really unaccomplished.
Right. And don't forget that Mike Judge had a career before all of this happened.
Right.
He's lived many lives.
He has. And this was sort of like that coming out party, at least in that neck of the woods in Texas, where, hey, this is somebody you ought to be paying attention to. And this is a show that you ought to be paying attention to as well, which, hey, that, again, somebody who I think got it.
Yeah, that's really cool. One, local news doing the heavy work of probably putting Mike Judge on the map for a lot of people, and maybe even on a news-wide scale where other journalists are taking note, oh, they did this profile on this guy. He must be really important.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye on him, and then as things grow, yeah.
The next review I could find actually comes out September 22nd, 1992, so a day later.
All right.
This is The Record in Hackensack, New Jersey, and there's a review by a reporter, Bill Ervolino. You can tell I have like no Italian in me. I can't say Ervolino with the right emphasis. I'm sorry.
Ervolino.
There you go. You've got the Italian in you.
A little bit.
I should have let you introduce this one. Anyway, here we are. But he was talking about Frog Baseball airing on Liquid Television. He says, a short about two motorheads named Beavis and Butt-head who play ball with a live frog, bludgeon a poodle, and hum heavy metal tunes.
They hum heavy metal tunes?
Yeah.
No.
The thing is, like, I saw that kind of language pop up in a lot of different places. I think that's kind of the language that MTV used in its promotional material when it was promoting the show and promoting Liquid Television and Beavis and Butt-head.
Huh. Okay. Well, MTV's PR person misled people. They don't hum.
They do not hum. Then we go quiet again. The series gets fully developed in early 93, and then we start to see reviews from people who had advanced viewings of the show or people who reviewed it like the week it came out. So we have two reactions that come from people who had advanced screenings before the show came out. The first one comes from our friends at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram.
Hey.
They're back. February 15th, 1993, a different reporter, Stephen Cole Smith, and he's discussing the start of the show on MTV, and he brings in the network description. So this is actually the network's description, not the Star-Telegram's, not Stephen's.
Okay.
This is what MTV sent out, and he just was quoting from their promotional material.
Okay, I gotta hear this.
Remember, MTV promo person, did they get it right? Here they go. Beavis and Butt-head follows the quirky adventures of Beavis, a dark-haired guy in a Metallica t-shirt, and Butt-head, a blonde guy in an AC/DC t-shirt. You see the problem immediately, right?
Absolutely, I do.
Each day, these unemployed metalheads can be found amusing themselves with observations on such important things as girls, TV shows, and rock stars. Favorite activities include going on a rampage at a local mall with a neighbor's credit card, and wreaking havoc at the window of a local drive-through burger world. Beavis and Butt-head bang their heads in unison while playing air guitar and replace complete sentences with riffs from their favorite tunes such as Smoke on the Water. Their favorite expression is, "That was cool," or "That would be cool," or just "cool." Politically incorrect and proud of it, the pair roam the neighborhood in search of tacky and twisted fun. And then Stephen adds his 2 cents. "Cool. Our children are doomed."
Which was the viewpoint of many parents at the time, let's be honest.
Oh, very much so. Cool, our children are doomed. Those 5 words really did sum up a lot of people's entire opinion about this show.
Right. And chances are they read those couple of paragraphs that you just read, having probably not even seen the show, but just reading that alone makes you think, oh no.
Yeah, it's not exactly the rosiest setup. And I think, here's the thing. I don't blame MTV. I don't blame their PR people. I really don't, because at this time, this show wasn't the show we know and love.
It's true.
It hadn't yet found its footing.
No.
This was probably the best you could do with what you had available for you to look at.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, as we're going to discuss on our next episode, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, as we're going to discuss on our next episode, the first couple seasons of Beavis and Butt-head were not good.
Well, and when you have Frog Baseball as maybe the template of which to go off of, you are going to have the more degenerate version of Beavis and Butt-head. You're going to have really crude and quick storylines. And that's not the way it keeps going for sure, but that is how it starts, no doubt.
And maybe even a little bit to its detriment. As, again, we're going to get into that conversation next week, but for now, just put that bug in your brain.
Okay.
So early reaction number 8 comes from the Star Tribune in Minnesota.
Okay.
It's Minneapolis. It's February 19th, 1993, and reporter Noel Halston had this to say. Apparently trying to counter the notion that MTV has become socially responsible in the wake of its Rock the Vote election coverage, the cable music channel next month plans to launch a daily animated series about a couple of unemployed metalheads, there's that phrase again,
Yep.
Beavis and Butt-head, who are, quote, politically incorrect and proud of it. According to MTV, the, quote, dim but never dull duo, unquote, enjoy such activities as going on rampage at the local mall with neighbor's credit card and wreaking havoc, drive-through of a burger joint. And then the last line, maybe Wayne and Garth will sue.
No. You know what? Stephen Cole Smith did a much better job of trying to go for the punchline.
Yeah, and again, this Wayne and Garth comparison, let's take a little time out here to make sure that our audience knows that we are huge Wayne's World fans.
Big time. We can quote at least the first half of the movie from memory.
Easily. It's not even an option. Like, we can do it.
Yeah. One of the reasons why is because it's in our rotation of things that we watch right before we go to sleep. Hence why the first half we have memorized and the second half not so much.
Yeah. But it's like, we're fans of that movie, very much so. And it's sad that that's the only comparison people could make in 1992, or at least the only one they could think to make in pop culture.
Yeah.
There's so many other options out there that just seemed like the lazy one to pick.
It is because maybe looks wise. You've got a brunette guy and you got a blonde guy. Okay, fine. But characteristically, I'm sorry, I do not think Wayne and Garth are dim. They are definitely never dull, for sure. They're not degenerate. They are not antisocial. They don't have any of those kind of behaviors going on for them. So where are they getting that from? Or do they just not even know who Wayne and Garth are?
It's possible. And maybe it just stops at duo that likes loud music.
Maybe.
Male pairing that likes loud music. And that's all the further they went with it. And that's kind of sad.
It's pretty shallow. It's weak.
So before we get into the last 2 reviews, I do have a little sidelight that I want to talk about. And that is the fact that while I was looking up this kind of stuff for this episode, I found that before the series even started, MTV got sued.
Ooh, okay, what? I don't know anything about this.
By the way, if you want us, dear audience, to do a deep dive on this, I will. I'll go deep on this.
Yeah, this is your guy. This dude loves research.
This is just a short intro into maybe something that might be much bigger, or if you're like, okay, we won't do a full episode.
But let us know.
Your call. So, February 20th, 1993, so about a month before the show premieres, there's a story in the Daily Oklahoman, which is Oklahoma City, Ed Godfrey, and the story says, an Oklahoma corporation is accusing MTV of trademark infringement because of its animated television show, Beavis and Butt-head. Second graph. Laid Back Enterprises of Oklahoma City alleges in a federal lawsuit that it owns the trademark of Butt-head. MTV distributes Beavis and Butt-head t-shirts and other products in violation of that trademark, the lawsuit alleges.
Huh.
So who is this company? Okay, story continues. Laid Back Enterprises claims it purchased the Butt-head trademark from Butt-head Sportswear, a partnership with offices in La Mesa, California.
Butt-head Sportswear?
Butt-head Sportswear. The corporation claims the trademark was purchased July 30th, 1992 for $5,000 and 2% of all of sales of products bearing the mark Butt-head.
Okay, as soon as we are done recording, I am Googling Butt-head Sportswear.
So, postscript, I did go on eBay.
Oh, did you find anything?
I couldn't find anything.
Dang it!
However, the company does still exist. They owned laidback.com,
Okay.
which is cool, but that URL has since lapsed. There's nothing left there. But the company apparently is still alive. One of their big beefs in the lawsuit was that Butt-head was more affectionate in their marketing. Like Butt-head was something that was smiling, and Butt-head was something that you felt good about. And MTV's Butt-head was degenerate.
You're such a butthead, honey.
So apparently they settled this lawsuit in November of 93 for some undisclosed sum. So it was only in the court system for maybe 2 months.
Okay, so they paid him off.
I'm guessing it was like, oh, you paid $5,000 for this? Here's $10,000. Shut up.
Yeah.
That's my speculation, by the way. Don't sue me.
Right?
So now we're ready for the premiere of Beavis and Butt-head.
Okay.
It debuted on March 8th, 1993. The very first episode was at 7 p.m. Eastern. Again, if you want me to do a deep dive into the conditions on March 8th, 1993, let me know. But on the East Coast, Beavis and Butt-head was up against Hard Copy, Cops, A Current Affair, Sports Center, Unsolved Mysteries, which, by the way, we love,
Oh, hell yeah.
The Waltons, The Jetsons, Quantum Leap, which I know is a show you're getting into.
Yes, I'm watching it for the very first time in 2025, and I am loving it.
Designing Women, and Beverly Hillbillies.
What a lineup.
Now, out of that lineup, there's also Beavis and Butt-head, 7 p.m. Eastern. Now, on the West Coast, if you were in California watching, it was up against the Missouri Valley Conference Basketball Tournament Championship game on ESPN,
Oh, boy.
which I went and looked up. Southern Illinois beat Illinois State 70-59, got their ticket punched to the big dance.
Oh, God, what a snooze fest.
I couldn't even finish the sentence before you were just shitting on sports ball.
Yeah, sorry, not this time. What a lousy game that sounds like. I'm sorry, 70-59, that's not really a contest. That's not exciting. And they're preempting.
Yeah, between two teams you don't care about.
No,
And so you would have chosen Beavis and Butt-head. Okay.
I would have.
But there's also the second hour of Nashville Now on TNN.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you can't miss that.
And there was also 2 movies. There was High Ice, which was on HBO. I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm thinking it's glaciering, but there's a small chance it might be about meth.
Yes, that's what I thought of.
And then you have Ishtar on Cinemax.
Wow. West Coast, what the hell is wrong with your TV?
So one of the things I found most interesting about this time in March of 93 was that the number 1 song in America on March 8th, 1993 was A Whole New World from the Aladdin soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But the very next week, the new number 1 song was Informer by Snow.
Yeah!
Yeah. By the way, find my YouTube channel, you will find Beavis singing Informer.
Yes, you did that with some sort of voice synthesizer, and it turned out really shockingly good.
Oh, it's like probably my most popular YouTube video ever. And I'm ripping on Quiet Please for having like 1,200 views. My best video is that one, and it's got like 1,200 views. So go figure.
So, hey, you're doing just as good as they are.
Number one movie in America, Falling Down. I don't know if you've seen Falling Down.
I don't recall that at all.
And I've never seen it in full, but I've seen a shit ton of clips on like TikTok.
Okay.
And it's angry white man with a shotgun rampaging through the streets of LA as he goes into a mental break.
America.
America. Very America. And the number one movie was CB4, which is Chris Rock's rap parody movie, which again, I've never seen, and I feel like I should have in my life.
Yeah, same.
So this is sort of the atmosphere in which the show is entering.
We are so in the 90s. I love it.
Very early mid-90s. And on March 12th, it's the first review that I can find on newspapers.com after the show debuts. It's in the Durham Herald-Sun, so Durham, North Carolina. It's James F. Mills in the airwaves section. The very first sentence. You ready for this?
Oh, give it.
It's Wayne and Garth meet Ren and Stimpy.
Okay.
Which I would have thought was actually pretty good if we hadn't already had two Wayne's World comparisons already in this episode alone.
Right. Agreed. Yeah, at least there's the twist with adding Ren and Stimpy. I do not disagree with that, for the record.
Yeah. And then he says later on in his review, it's likely to be the next animated classic.
Ooh.
He also says it's one of those cartoons that may take time to grow on you.
Okay.
But he also says, and I think he's got two right. I think he messed up this one. He's talking about the music videos. You know, while this lets us get to know the dudes, it's also the most boring part of the show. Skip the videos and get on with the story.
Okay.
No, because the point of Beavis and Butt-head is not the story. Let's be honest, especially at this point.
You know what? I think that makes for a great poll for our audience is, do you prefer the stories or do you prefer the commentary in the music videos? Because you know what? For a long time, I preferred the stories. Sometimes the music videos didn't always click with me. That has since changed a lot. But back in the day, and maybe in the earlier days too, I would actually agree with this person.
And I think this is before, we talked about this on another episode. This was before the React boom.
Yeah.
We didn't know how to react to reacts.
Right. And maybe this person didn't get it, but otherwise, that's a fairly honest and decent review.
Yeah, and overall very positive. For the time and for the atmosphere, it was a very positive review. And I mean, credit to James F. Mills. I think he understood that there was something deeper that was going to happen. And credit to him for spotting that soon.
Yeah, and saying this show might be the next classic.
So the last of my 10 reactions that I found was March 15th, so not long after, about a week after the show debuted. It's in the Arizona Republic, and it's from Richard Nilsson. And the headline on this review gives it all away. MTV scrapes bottom with trendy tune.
So this guy really liked it.
Right. So here's the lead to his review. Beavis and Butt-head makes me very optimistic. With this new MTV animated half-hour series, TV has bottomed out, and from here it can only get better.
Oh, sweetie. There's so many things you have not seen.
Right?
Jerry Springer, Jersey Shore.
Right. The poor virgin eyes of Richard Nilsson in March of 93. I mean, I don't want to ruin his little bubble, but if I could go back to March of 93 and give this guy a hint as to what's to come in the next 30 years, I think he'd think differently about Beavis and Butt-head.
Or would he just throw his hands up and say, I quit. I can't do this anymore.
Later in this review, he says to call it sophomoric is an insult to sophomores everywhere.
Has he been around a sophomore before?
But he does make a really interesting point, and I want to give him some credit. I feel like we're ripping on Richard a little bit.
Okay.
But he does make a really good point toward the end, and he says that there's a difference between camp and cheese.
Okay.
And so cheese is camp, and this is his quote, cheese is camp, quote, but without the stylishness. A less pleasant aspect of cheese is its submersion in pointless cruelty and violence. So he realized that it was cheesy, but he also realized that cheese very often devolves into this, dare we say, it evolves into this quiet place kind of animation that's just shock value.
That is an interesting commentary, and I do like the definition deciphering between camp and cheese. I don't think I've quite heard that before.
Yeah, I hadn't either, and I think it's really apt, and it's a sign of somebody who really does understand things. So even though he didn't have the crystal ball to be able to see into the future and realize things were going to get severely worse in entertainment circles, at least, he's a thinker. And he was trying to approach this intelligently, and I don't know, maybe that was his mistake.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can always appreciate a good analysis.
Yeah.
But I would love to know what Richard Nilsson thinks of Beavis and Butt-head now, for one, and then also about everything else that has happened on TV since. Like, if he could go back, would he change this review?
Richard, if you're out there and you're still alive, hit us up. tpforyourholes.com.
I'm telling you, this is the unsolved mysteries. We're just doing constant. Where are you?
So on March 16th, which is not long after the show debuts, so March 8th it debuts, March 16th, the LA Times comes out with a story that says animation delays will keep the show from moving forward until May, which is when new episodes would be coming back. So like literally 8 days after it debuts, they're like, yeah, we've got no more new episodes. You're going to have to wait a couple months.
Yeah.
But that's when we really see the reviews pick up and the show fully takes off in this second launch in May. And that's when it becomes this cultural phenomenon that we all know and some of us love.
Yeah, some of us, not all of us, especially if you're a reviewer.
Yeah.
Well, that really was a great sampling of what was out there at the time. And you uncovered some really cool things from the earliest of days before people really knew who Beavis and Butt-head were, what people were saying. Thank you for doing all of that work and sharing it with us. That was fun.
So my big question for our audience is, how do you think the reviewers did? Who do you agree with? Who do you think completely missed the ball? How do you think we did in reviewing the reviewers? And now that we especially have had 33 years to retrospectively look back and figure out our own thoughts.
Yeah.
Again, this is like the 8th time we've said this episode, but we'd love to hear from you.
Yes. We have the benefit of hindsight, and that does give us an unfair advantage. But you know what? We'll take it.
Hey, you know what? We need every advantage we can get in life. If this is the one that I'm going to get, I will take it too.
I think that's fair. And hey, as a slight preview of what might be coming on this podcast, when we're recording this, the newest season of Mike Judge's Beavis and Butt-head is debuting. And we are not going to have the benefit of hindsight when we talk about these new episodes.
Yeah.
We might have some lousy takes. We'll find out.
Well, somebody in 33 years is going to be on their vidcast, pod, whatever, consciousness stream. And they're going to look back at us and be like, wow, they had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah, that's okay and that's fair.
True. We did it to other people. They can do it to us. It's all good.
Yes. So thank you all you butt munches out there for joining us. We appreciate you. Remember, you can go to tpforyourearholes.com and reach out if you want to contact us. You can also go to Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook. The handle is tpforyourearholes. And we are on the YouTube. So if you're there, please like and do all the clicky button things. Patrick, what are we going to do next week?
It'll be our unofficial second part of our 2-part look back at the early days of Beavis and Butt-head. And we're going to look at why these early episodes are so bad. And that is not a subjective statement. That is a statement of fact. Why are these early episodes so bad?
Oh, okay. This is not an opinion. This is facts.
And I'm going to prove it to you next week. I crunch the numbers because sometimes that's what I do. Me and spreadsheets get along really well. The spreadsheets really show us that the first 3 seasons of Beavis and Butt-head were quite problematic as far as people actually liking what they were seeing.
How interesting. Okay, I cannot wait to dive into that, but guess what? We gotta wait a week, so hope you'll tune in then.
Thanks, everyone. Till then.